Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcase video. In today's video, we're looking at another small block fighter, and this one is called the Harbinger Mk III, which is this lovely thing over here. So this is a small compact ship that looks like it's something out of Star Wars. It features only autocannons for its firepower, and it's got all three types of thrusters, so you are good for pretty much everywhere. Pressing F10 and finding it in the spawn menu, the Harbinger Mk III is 1,237 small blocks using the Sparks of the Future, Wasteland, Heavy Infantry and Warfare 2 DLC packs. We've got a little bit of information about it on the Steam Workshop page. We'll just give this thing a thumbs up with all around towards the very front. We'll have a quick look around the outside, fly it around for a bit, and then we'll test it out against the lovely red ship which is sitting right behind that asteroid. So we're just going to hide all the signals, hide all the HUD. This is what we get at the very front. We can see 4 hydrogen thrusters and 2 ion thrusters to help slow this thing down, with a little camera to help precisely aim our guns. If we also move a bit closer, we can see a bunch of batteries lining up the side to give this thing some power, as well as 2 wasteland spotlights to light up the darkness. Just pulling away from that, we've got 2 spotlights to also help light up the darkness, as well as 4 autocannons to blast your enemies with. We also have a couple more autocannons on our side wings. Get a better look at them when we start to fire them. It was to move around onto the side. That is what's covering up the side of our autocannons. It's simply a blaster edge block, then some steel blocks right behind it. We can also see some conveyors linking them to the main body of the ship, as well as a couple more hydrogen thrusters to help us on our left and right hand side. Towards the rear of the vehicle, we've got some atmospheric thrusters and a ion thruster to help move us around, as well as one large atmospheric thruster to help us stop while on the planet. Pulling away from there and looking at our wing. So this is our wing fully deployed. When we hit the button in the cockpit, it'll fold all the way down and be completely flat to allow it to land down on a pad without damaging the bottom wings. But we can see once again our grey and orange steel blocks, a couple of ion thrusters just sitting at the bottom and the top there. And on the middle here we can see one hell of a lot of our armoured conveyors, or the encased conveyors, I forgot what they're called. They just go all the way along towards the top, towards our autocannons, and there's that one on the bottom. On the side, we've got a blinking white light, and that's going to be the same all the way at the top. Then coming around towards the back of them, we can see some ion thrusters to help push us around. And we do have a script on here to allow us to use the thrusters on a subgrid. At the rear of the main section of the vehicle, we've got 1 large hydrogen thruster and 2 large ion thrusters to push us around while in space, and one hell of a lot of great block work. If we were to move all the way up and start to look down, there is what that looks like. So we can see our hydrogen tank, we've got our atmospheric thrusters. What's just appear the camera underneath these steel blocks, that is what that looks like. So there is the inside of our hydrogen tank, which will reveal to us our oxygen tank, our reactors, our gyroscope, and all the conveyors linking up our guns and thrusters all the way around the ship. We're to come out of that and continue towards the very front. There is a projector to help weld this thing up. There's an antenna to make sure we can always find it. Then towards the front, what we can see are 2 programmable blocks sitting outside our cockpit, where one of them has our integrity script, and on the opposite side we've got our subgrid manager. Looking down and going towards the front, that is what that looks like. Then dropping down and coming underneath it, it's going to be basically the same until we get to the main body. We've got a bunch of atmospheric thrusters, a bunch of hydrogen thrusters, a connector to dock this thing up, some great use of our unfinished window block showing us our hydrogen tank. There's our thrusters at the back. And there we go, that's a very brief look around the outside of the Harbinger Mk III. That looks fantastic how it's been set up. But now what I can do is just grab hold of my character, come into third person view. That should do quite nicely. Now I'm going to bring up the HUD, press number 3, press number 2, now fold our wings all the way down, so it's like it was never split in the first place. There we go, so now we can land down on the landing pad without damaging anything. Once we're ready to take off, we can press that again, and it'll just fold all the way out. Pressing number 1 will then take over all of our autocannons, we can blast them all together, and that should deal a nice lot of damage. First person view, that's what that looks like. And just looking around there, we just about make out our autocannons on the top wings, then towards the front. Number 4 is for our offset camera, where we can just about precisely aim all of our autocannons. Don't really think we need to precisely aim with this, just hit in the general direction, and we should deal a nice lot of block damage. But as for that is all the controls this ship has. So now we can fly this thing around, then we can turn around behind the asteroid and start blasting that red ship. So moving forwards, this is what we get. We've got a nice amount of speed, but it's not the fastest thing in the world. Coming to a stop, that's all we get. It's about the same moving forwards and backwards, so we don't need to do a 180 to try and slow ourselves down a bit quicker. It should stop in a reasonable amount of time. Moving left, and moving right, we've got some nice speed with that. And then moving down, and then moving up. Moving up is faster than everything else, but that's to be expected from a ship that can go on a planet. We're going to have one hell of a lot of thrusters underneath us, just to stop us from crashing into the floor. Then wiggling my mouse around, this is what we get. We've got nice sort of control over it. It's generally what I like when it comes to a small fighter. It's not too floaty, it's got a hint of weight to it, and you should get a lot of use out of this. And here we are at the red frigate, and we're now going to start shooting it with all our autocannons, and hopefully we'll deal a nice lot of damage. It might be just a little bit far away. There is our hit marker. Now it's time to start the blasting. So we're going to aim over there, going to keep turning with that reticle, and hopefully we'll do a nice lot of damage to it before it can start engaging with us. There goes their shots towards me. I need to use the camera and try and find out where their guns are. And hopefully I can start blasting them. I might need to sit still, which is going to be very dangerous. I think I just got pummeled by one of their artillery cannons. Are we still in one piece? Yes, we are. I forgot to lock the hinges. That's why we're wobbling around. And I'm now going to start flying a bit closer to it. See if I can... Oh, God. I was going to say, see if I can disable their artillery cannons, but it looks like they just took out the cockpit. And now the ship is being flung into little pieces as it slowly flies away from that ship. As for having a bit of fun in unfair combat, it's a lovely little ship if you are looking to use this in your world. It's got a great amount of firepower, it's got great design, and I am always a sucker for folding parts on a ship. So there'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download and play around for yourself. There'll also be a link to the Skybox I'm currently using, and I'll be back with another video sometime soon. Bye bye.